Everyone else is blowing $15,000, $25,000 to stand around at a trade show and hope. They call that spray and hope that somebody's going to stop by. I'm going to show you exactly how to dominate a trade show in less than $1,500, including travel. Stay tuned. Let me show you how. First of all, most companies think trade shows are about flashy displays, and they're wrong. It's about strategy, conversations, and content. You don't need a fancy booth. You don't even need a booth. You need a bold presence and a clear purpose. Now, we just did this at the IFT Chicago show, and it was all about meeting and dominating what the conversation was about. That doesn't mean we were being jerks. That means that we were going into with a plan. We were not going to fluff around with people that are just reps or who didn't give us any time of day. The idea here was we were on a mission. We were going to hit everybody that kind of fit our profile. We were going to find out the contact information of that place, and we were going to use that to our advantage. Now, again, let me explain further. First of all, the key thing here is it really is divide and conquer, almost a guerrilla approach. We wanted to make sure that whatever we did, we knew that we were going there to literally expend every ounce of energy to find contacts, find companies that met the criteria we were looking for. In this particular case, we were looking for companies that used either bag and box and aseptic packaging. That's a tiny little niche in the specialized packaging space, but we were not going to be denied. We knew that in this little area, there were going to be some key players in this space. We may not have or find the decision makers, but we were going to find the key players, meaning the companies themselves. From there, that comes up in week 2 and week 3 as we reach out. The other thing that's really, really important here is we actually met and hired some experts that used to work at some of the big players in this space. Look, LinkedIn is beautiful for this. You can find players that used to work at some of the biggest packaging companies in the world. And frankly, this isn't about digging up dirt or finding something that's behind the scenes or nefarious. What I'm talking about is these guys know where the bones are buried. These guys know what their company was good at and what their company was not good at. They knew what projects they would go after, which projects they'd kick to the curb. This is really gold when it comes to being able to have conversations, or at least being able to create content that leads to conversations about, in this case, bag and box or aseptic packaging. Are you following? The key thing here is we had this intel, we knew the market, we knew what was happening, we knew there was a need, and we knew that we had the at least some of the players at these places, at the booths, so we can kind of penetrate from there, okay? Next thing here is you want to break down what's really critical in this particular case. What I'm getting at here is for less than $1,000, you can go to one of these shows. And sometimes they're a little bit more. Sometimes you can get a student pass. Sometimes you can get a press pass or whatever. This isn't about spending $3,500 to walk in the door at some, fancy food expo. You don't have to do that. You can find ways in, or you can find companies that can get you a pass. What I'm talking about here is we got in there for $1,000 on a startup. No one asked us if we were a startup. We're not a startup, but somebody said, hey, do you want to join this? There's a startup pavilion. Well, that got us passes, and that got us in there, and frankly, a table. But we weren't even there. The point I'm getting at is you can do this on a shoestring. Now, the other thing that's critical is you can use the website, and because we were paying customers, we could go into the website and begin to, in advance, look who was going to be there. This particular show not only gave the those that were exhibiting, they also had the attendees that had signed up to go. That's gold. Now, to be able to take that information and then use our Ninja AI tools, you can then put in the criteria that you're looking for, companies, industries, what they do, size of companies, You can kind of have a pretty good idea. Remember what I mentioned before is we had some market intel, and we knew some of the players who would be there. Some of these players were in the puree space. Some of these players were contract fillers. Some of these players were equipment manufacturers that we knew companies that used or would be able to use or needed aseptic or bag-and-box technology. All this stuff was critical for us to be able to dig in there and then use the data on the website to be able to scrape it. From there, we're able to create our own database, if you will, or spreadsheet. From that, we're going to now go after these companies, not just face-to-face at the show. We were going to go there in the first place. We were there anyhow, so we can go there and make some connections, see their booth, maybe find somebody that was willing to kind of help us navigate. A lot of people were, oh, yeah, that's Sam or that's Betty that handles this or whatever. But a lot of other places, you had the sales guys there. And they put their guard up and they're just there going through the motions, which is the whole nother video. But what I'm getting at is we walked the show, we got the information, we got business cards, we made sure that we went through the targets that we found, we made sure we knew who we're going to go after. And then, frankly, we also used our contacts who happened to be at this show. We got them into the show, and they walked around and started making connections with some of their old customers and some people that they knew. And, hey, how's it going? Or, are you guys having any problems? Are there any issues? And this is gold when it comes to a friend of a friend that was in the space and said, no, I'm consulting now. I'm no longer working for X company or Y company. I'm consulting. Tell me what problems you're having because I have a company that could possibly help. You see where I'm going here? So for less than $1,500, we were able to go at this very hard, very aggressively, and not have to monkey around with manning a booth, traveling with the booth. You know how the setup fees. And by the way, these ridiculous big shows are really on thin ice going forward, in my opinion. You gotta face it. These are at McCormick Place in Chicago. They ding you coming and going. I mean, it is ridiculous. Not just the booth, but there's a trash can fee, and there's a clean carpet fee, and if you want a backdrop, there's a fee, and if you want, these things, this is going to be replaced. I'm telling you, and these people have their own selves to blame because this is price gouging. This is bullshit. I can't imagine ever spending that kind of money. These sales reps that are able to sell these things, God bless them, because it's like selling foo-foo dust. I don't get how they're doing this, but there's some of the biggest companies there that spent 50, 100 grand on a booth. It's mind-blowing to me. But anyhow, point I'm getting at here is this is a way with technology, and you've heard me mention in the past, AI tools and things that are available. I mentioned using something like Clay. There's Apollo, Sales AI. There's all kinds of tools that are out there that you can very easily get a subscription for and begin to look at how to make the trade shows work for you. Okay, not against you, but for you. I think it's really important that you understand this. And I hope this is helpful. I hope you like it. If you like the video, please like it. Please subscribe. Try to give as much easy to understand value here to anybody in the packaging space. Once again, I hope that was helpful. Thanks again.